At the start of this year, I made a list of the 24 books I wanted to read in 2024. In the first 11 months of this year, I read 10. We have 1 month left and 14 books. These are the 14 books remaining. We're gonna read them this week. How optimistic am I that I'm gonna get 14 books read this week? I'm gonna be real with you. Relatively not optimistic. I don't think that that's happening. There's a few short ones in here, but realistically, it's not happening. But I figure we can read as many as physically possible. The first 5 of these are on my monthly TBR, so I'd love to get these read if possible, but I am also in a massive book slump. So I'm kind of like in between trying to tackle as many as possible, so I'm going to maybe pick the short ones, but I also want to pick books that I think I'm going to enjoy. That all being said, there are so many books left on this TBR and I would like to get some numbers in this week. So I do think for the sort of first book of the challenge, I'm going to try and tackle the shortest one. I say tackle because I'm not really in the mood for it. If you've seen my December TBR, you saw my reaction. I didn't necessarily want her on the TBR, but it's okay. I'm gonna push myself. So, I think we're gonna start with Peter Pan. It is 150 pages. So my thinking is, I can bash this out in 3 hours and then we can just move on. I really want the first day of this challenge to finish a book in 1 day, and I think that is the best bet that we're gonna have. So my hope is that the next time I see you, I'll have been like, I finished this book. Considering the last thing I just said to you, this update is going to be a little bit ironic. I made it to page 9. I read 9 pages, yeah. I'm not starting with this. My logic was, because I'm in a book slump, I was like, I'll just pick the shortest book, therefore I'll feel accomplished when it's done. But I'm not in the mood. I'm really not. I'm so sorry. We're gonna start with something a bit more mood ready. I might try and come back to this, because it's not like, it's pretty accessibly written. It's not like a difficult, I was gonna call it a classic. Is it a classic? It's a classic, it's Peter Pan, right? That's a classic. Does that count as a classic? I mean, it's not like Pride and Prejudice, but it's Peter Pan. I don't know. Anyway, it's like very accessible, but it's still pretty old-timey. Because it was written in old times. Oh my goodness, what was my point? I've read 9 pages of this. I'm not going to start with this. I'm going to mood read. Let me grab a couple of options and we'll decide something I'm actually more in the mood for, I think. Okay, I've narrowed it down to 3. I want something easy. I think that's what I'm craving at the moment. So I've narrowed it down to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, Red, White and Royal Blue. I can never say this book title. I never get it right. Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, or Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. These 2 are on my monthly TBR, but I'm just so in the mood for this one. Although Carrie Soto is the shortest, I actually might go with Carrie Soto because I know that I like Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing because I've read a few of her books, and I do think I could really like this one. Yeah, do you know what? Okay, sorry, this was a really like odd way to start the video, but I think I'm going to start Carrie Soto today instead. And hopefully this time, the next time I see you, I will have read a bit more than 9 pages. Pick a movie, I'll pick you up, we'll go eat sushi. It is quite a lot later in the day. I have been reading Carrie Soto all day. I'm up to page 145, so I guess a third in, maybe a little bit over, maybe like 40%. I love Carrie. I have seen so many reviews of people saying that they don't like her. I guess it. I get why people maybe wouldn't like her. I love her. She's definitely very self-centered. She's pretty blunt. She's just like a super driven, ambitious person, but I love her. I think she's so cool. It very much hits that niche that I'm always saying that I like, which is following somebody doing something that they love. So I love watching all of her tennis matches and like hearing about the progress. I know nothing, literally nothing about tennis. I don't possess one single bit of sporting ability. As in, I literally can't catch. Like, if you throw me something, I won't catch it. Like, I'm not sporty. I'm still so invested in all of her tennis matches, and it feels like it's written, but I've no idea how accurate it is, but it feels like it's written accurately. As somebody who knows absolutely nothing about tennis, and even if it's not, I'm like, I don't even care because I'm interested, and it's just written in such a captivating way, even though it's not necessarily something I'm naturally interested in. That is something Taylor Jenkins Reid excels at. She takes something that you maybe don't know anything about or aren't particularly interested in, and then she makes you invested. I'm really, really liking this so far. I think so far, of all the Taylor Jenkins Reid books I've read, probably Seven Husbands is still my favourite. She's never missed for me, but I do think that one is probably my favourite. But I am loving this. This could... It depends where this one goes, but so far, I would say I'm kind of loving it equally. I'm very, very, very invested. I love Carrie. I think she's ace. Did I even say what this is about? I'll say it briefly, but I feel like everyone probably knows. We're following Carrie Soto. She is the greatest tennis player in the entire world, except she's coming out of retirement because someone is about to beat her title, and she has one of those personalities where she's like, I cannot let that happen. I've worked my entire life to be the greatest in the world, and now somebody's going to take it away from me. And it's such an interesting dynamic. Her dad is her coach, so you get all of those dynamics. It's very, very fun. I'm loving it so far. Good morning, friends. It's the next day. Actually, I guess it's not morning. It's 12:28. I, this morning, did a little bit more reading of Carrie Soto, so I'm up to page 196, so just over halfway. Really not that more since I last spoke to you, so I don't have a whole lot more to say because I spoke to you probably like 40 pages ago. But what I did want to talk to you about was, this morning I started A Monster Calls. I actually decided to start the audiobook because the audiobook is so short. I think it's about 4 hours, and obviously I listened to them a little bit quicker, which makes sense because the text is humongous. Let me see actually how far through I got. Okay, bearing in mind I literally started this while I was getting ready for the day. Only listened to it for a little bit. I'm 45% of the way through this book, so very nearly halfway through. Okay, let's talk about it. Oh my goodness. Firstly, I listened to the author's note. Literally the start of the book, I listened to the author's note, I cried. Like, I knew this book was going to make me cry, but I wasn't expecting the author's note to make me cry. Basically, Patrick Ness talks about an author called Siobhan Dowd, who this was meant to be her 5th book, and then she sadly passed away. Let me just read this to you. It says, this would have been her 5th book. She had the characters, a premise, and a beginning. What she didn't have, unfortunately, was time. I mean, it's a page and a half, but it's such a beautifully written author's note. Basically talking about what an incredible author Siobhan was, and how Patrick has kind of taken her story and then hopes to have done the best he can do with it. And he said his only kind of like goal was to write a book I think Siobhan would have liked. No other criteria could really matter. I'm literally getting goosebumps reading it. I don't know, if you ever pick up this book, please read the author's note. It's only a page and a half, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I can't even imagine taking somebody else's story, somebody who's passed away, and then the pressure to then write that story. I think that is absolutely incredible, and her premise is absolutely gorgeous, and I think so far anyway, Patrick Ness has done the most beautiful job with it. So let's talk about the book. 45% in. I have seen the film of this book. I sobbed my little heart out. I then watched the screening of the play, cried myself to sleep. I have absolutely no shadow of a doubt in my mind that this is going to make me sob uncontrollably. But I do already know the story, obviously, because I've seen the film, I've seen the play. Both were gorgeous, and I really, really wanted to read the original text, which is very unlike me. Normally, if I know the story of something, so if I've seen the film first, I'm not really going to bother with the book because I know what happens. This is different because the end of the film and the play are so breathtaking that I need to know how it's written. And so far, this is absolutely stunning. If you don't know what it's about, we're basically following a boy called Connor. His mum is ill, she's currently in treatment. He's been getting these nightmares, and there's this one specific nightmare that he basically doesn't want to address. He's been running from it. And then he starts getting visited by a magical tree. And the tree says that it's going to tell him 3 stories, and then when he's done, Connor needs to tell him this big secret that he's been keeping from everyone. The big secret is kind of the thing that we're building to. I obviously do already know what it is, but I'm so excited to see how it's been written because it is so beautiful in both the film and the play. The audiobook is absolutely gorgeous. The writing is stunning. stunning. I have been fighting back tears while listening to this book. If you want to read it, I would check your trigger warnings, but it is completely beautiful. It's quite young. Is it YA or is it younger? I actually don't know. It is young, but it's not at the same time. At the same time, it feels so mature, to me anyway. This story already means so much to me, so I probably am quite biased going in. But so far, I've absolutely not been disappointed. I'm terrified to read the end, but also equally excited. I am on page 268 of Carrie Soto is Back, so probably around the 70% mark. I'm going to finish it this evening. We only have... Okay, oh, we have more than I thought. We have pretty much exactly 100 pages left. But nonetheless, we are going to finish it this evening because I'm hooked and I need to know what happens. I am scared for the ending because there is something that I am so confident is going to happen, and if it happens, it's going to break my heart. But I'm 95% sure it's going to happen. I just feel it in my bones. So I'm a bit scared, but we are going to finish this now.
Or we'll go downtown. With our best moves we can boogie. Oh my, we both look so fly, like sweet apple pie. Yeah, they want a piece of us.
I finished this book this evening. Let's start with the rating. It almost snuck up on me, and this doesn't normally happen. Normally I'm almost painfully aware of what I'm giving a book, to the point where, I don't know if anybody else feels this, I sometimes get distracted while reading thinking about my rating and I'll like solidify it in my head while I'm reading, and then I'll have to reread a page because I was like, you were just thinking about the rating. Even if it's like a 5-star, I'll be reading it being like, this is a 5-star, and then realise I've zoned out. Anyway, all of that being said, it snuck up on me. This was a 5-star. I loved this. The thing that I thought was going to happen, it happened. I literally knew, which was almost worse because I was like preparing myself, and yeah, I may or may not have teared up. I loved this. I cannot put into words how hard I was rooting for Carrie Soto. Every single match I was like, I want you to win, even though the whole kind of message and point of the book is not necessarily that we always have to win. Clearly I didn't get that message because I wanted her to win, but mostly I just wanted her to be happy. I think this is up there for me with Seven Husbands, which is tall order. I love that book, but I loved this book. This was just like literally the best way I could have started this video off. This was paced so well. I was so hooked. I loved all of the like mixed media elements. There was a lot of like news reports and things like that. I very briefly listened to the audiobook. Really recommend the audiobook. The audiobook's great. They do all of the like voices. There's like quite a big cast, I think. I mean, I only listened to a little bit of it, but even with the news reports and stuff, there's music. It's really, really cool. So I would highly recommend the audiobook. I think it's joined first for my favourite Taylor Jenkins Reid novel, which is a bit mad. I wasn't really expecting that, to be honest. This was fabulous. But we're gonna pick our next read. We still have this big old stack of books. I kind of want something very different now so that I won't be comparing it in my mind to Carrie Soto. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I could do a thriller. I actually think we've only really got one thriller, which is The Maidens. We've got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I feel like that's not properly a thriller. Okay, I might go with this because I think I'm in a bit of a thriller mood. Although, now I've said that, I think this is way more dark academia. This always has given me If We Were Villains vibes. I've no idea if they're similar, but those are the vibes that it gives me. So I think maybe we'll pick this up next, but it won't be today. I'm heading to work now. Probably in the morning we'll start this, and I'll check in with you when I have some thoughts. So, I have actually finished the next book for this video, but before I talk to you about it, I have just like 2 really random things that I wanted to say before I forget. One of them was, it's just probably no one else cares and or noticed other than me, but it's been stressing me out, so I thought I would just say it quickly. For whatever reason, when I reply to people's comments at the moment, and it's been like this for a few weeks, only about 50% of the time will it let me tag someone in the comment, and I only really recently noticed. So a lot of the time I've been replying to people's comments but then going back and realising that they were never tagged, so they've probably never seen it. So if you've commented on one of my recent videos within like the last few weeks, I have replied, I promise. I reply to everyone's comments. I just can't figure out how to tag everyone. I don't know if it's a glitch in YouTube or if it's me. Either is very possible. Either way, I'm sorry. As I say, it's probably not that deep to anyone other than me, but I'm stressed that people think I have not replied to them when I have. The other thing was, If you're not already, go follow my Instagram, shameless little plug, because I'm doing such a fun series over there. My mum surprised me with an advent calendar, a book advent calendar this year. She got it from Etsy. It is so cool. So I've been doing daily unwrappings over on my Instagram. It's a fun little series. It's just like short reels, but you get to see a new book every single day get unwrapped. So shameless plug, but if you're not already following me, go follow me. But going back to the book, this morning I finished A Monster Calls. I made a terrible error. For some reason, and I literally don't know what part of my brain thought this was a good idea, I decided to listen to the end of this book while doing my makeup. I literally spent like double the length of time doing my makeup because I was trying so hard not to cry. And I was literally listening to the end of this book, which I know what happens. I knew it was going to make me cry, and I was doing my mascara. Like, who thought that was a good idea? So my makeup probably looks terrible today because I cried quite a lot of it off while putting it on. But hey ho, we have finished the second book in this video, and guess what? Our second 5-star book. I don't know what's happening. Yes, this was a 5-star. I can't believe that I put this off for as long as I did. I should have read this immediately as soon as I got it. As we were getting closer to the ending, obviously I know what this like dream is, this thing that Connor doesn't want to say. Almost knowing made it worse because every time they spoke about it, I just like had this little gut punch of I know what's coming. So simple and beautiful. It is so well written. I can't even like put into words how much I love this story. I will say the first time I kind of interacted with this story, I think it must have been the movie. I was a lot younger, and I very much had it in my head that the grandma was like this evil character. And I'm 24 now, I'm a bit older, I can kind of appreciate these characters with maybe a little bit more nuance. And I'm realising that actually she's not evil, she's also going through something really horrible and really stressful. And it's so interesting to see how my reaction to characters has changed as I've gotten older, because I've kind of known this story and interacted with this story over so many years of my life now. I love it so much. It is... No, I can't even put it into words. I can't do it justice. I think this is absolutely stunning. If you want to pick it up, please do, but do check your trigger warnings. It's a very emotional read. It's very sad, but it's just so simple and beautiful and magical, kind of, but dark at the same time. I've actually never read from Patrick Ness before. Multiple times I have found his books in charity shops and gone to pick them up, and then for whatever reason not. But having read this, I think I need to. Anyway, I think those are all the updates. I'm pretty sure the last time I spoke to you, I was like, I'm gonna start the Maidens. Haven't done that yet. Will not be doing that because I'm about to go to work, but probably tomorrow, I guess, we'll start the Maidens.
Oh my, we both look so fly like sweet apple pie. Yeah, they want a piece of us. My, oh my, when we drive on by, they just can't deny. Yeah, they wanna be.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I haven't spoken to you in like a very long time. Like a very long time. It's been quite a few days, and by a few days I mean probably a week. I haven't touched a book in that time other than like yesterday and today. I'm just so deep in book slump territory, it's not even funny. So that's been great. So I haven't spoken to you because I have had nothing to say. I hadn't even started this until yesterday. I have now started it. We're reading The Maidens. I'm on page 148. So 40%, which is not bad. I started the audiobook yesterday because my library had it available, and I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna pick up a physical book. I switched to the physical today just because the chapters are actually really short, a little bit like The Silent Patient. So I was like, I can do that. If it has short chapters, I'm way more likely to want to pick it up. And to be fair, that is working. This book is very different to The Silent Patient, so don't necessarily go in expecting the same thing. That's obviously not a bad thing. Like, you don't want an author to just do the same thing over and over again, but it is actually very different. It kind of took me by surprise. I knew it was way more dark academia. The bit where I said that it was giving If We Were Villains, no. Wipe that from your brain. They are not similar even remotely, other than both of the covers are black and they're dark academia. There is no other similarities. How do I explain the plot of this? We're at Cambridge Uni, following Mariana, who used to go to this university, and then there's basically a murder within this like secret society. Very strange society. They're picked by this professor who teaches like Greek mythologies, Greek tragedy. He is an odd dude, to put it lightly. He doesn't seem like a nice guy, although we're still very early on, so it's quite difficult to know who to trust, obviously, because it's a thriller. Well, is it a thriller? It's way more of a mystery, I would say. Anyway, we're about 40% through it. I'm enjoying it. It's quick paced. The chapters are short, which is really helping. My favourite thing about this book so far is actually the atmosphere. I really like the kind of dark, dusky setting that we're getting. And I can't lie, the short chapters are helping. I feel like I've said that 7 times. Like, look how short that chapter is. It's 2 pages. It's a page and a half. Authors, take note. This is what we like. I feel like it's actually a universal experience of liking short chapters. I'll probably keep going via audio, I suspect, because I'm just so not in the mood to sit down and read. So I don't really know how the rest of this video is going to go. To be totally honest, I feel like I'm at that point of the year where I kind of just don't want to read anything, which is not ideal. So I feel like maybe we need to do some mood reading after this, even though this is basically mood reading because I had a choice of, well, like 14 books. It's still kind of a TBR. I actually had a comment the other day. God, I'm really rambling now. Sorry. Had a comment the other day on one of my videos basically saying, you do know that we will still watch your videos even if there's no challenge and you just read what you want to read. I do genuinely really like filming all of the challenge stuff, like randomly selecting a book and reading it, randomly picking TBRs, whatever. I do really enjoy that style of video, but it does just mean I get a little bit more burnt out because you end up, I say not reading what I want to read. I own all these books. I bought all these books. Like, I want to read them. I don't really know what my point was other than I think after this video, I'm either going to not read, which is a very likely possibility, or I'm just going to mood read and just pick some, let's be real, messy literary fiction, because that is what I want to read. Because that's always what I want to read. But for now, we're going to power through The Maidens. Okay, listen, this video didn't go how it was supposed to go because I've had the flu for the last week, which is why I look like I've died a death. I think you can actually hear in that last clip that I sounded like I was starting to get sick and then crashed with full-blown flu. So yeah, I do look a little questionable. We're all going to look past it. Unfortunately, I have completely run out of time to film the rest of this video. I have finished The Maidens, so I will talk about that quickly, but I just wanted to say this video didn't go as planned, and I'm really sorry about that, because between being in a massive book slump and then getting the flu, I've only read 3 books, which is not bad. I still read 3 books. That's great. Proud of myself. But I very much envisioned this being this big video where, did I think I was going to get all 14 done? Probably not, but I think I thought I was going to get a lot done. Do apologise, this video definitely didn't go how I wanted it to go, but these things happen. What can you do? I got sick. It's a relatively low stakes situation. I didn't read as many books as I wanted to. It's not that deep, but just thought I'd put it out there. Anyway, where's The Maidens? Oh, I don't know. I finished it. I guessed the plot twist literally about 0.00001 seconds before they said it. So does that count? Probably not. Probably not, but I like just got it just before they said it, and I was very proud of that. It was a very fun, atmospheric book, very different from The Silent Patient, but equally still pretty fast paced. Loved the short chapters, that really did help with the book slump. I listened to the whole rest of the thing by audiobook. The audiobook was really good, would recommend that. I feel like this isn't going to be the best review ever because I am in a book slump and have the flu. I'm not necessarily in like the best state of mind to give you an amazing, concise, interesting review, but it did a good job. It did what I needed it to do. The twist got me. This author really, really knows how to write a plot twist, and I love that his plot twists are there and they are gettable. I can't get them, but like I can see how other people could get them, but I think that's way more fun than a plot twist that just comes so dramatically out of nowhere that you just think, how on earth was anyone ever meant to get that? I do really like that, and I think it's very clever writing. The 2 books that I've read from him, I do think he's done that both times, where he has left you clues and you could have got it. I didn't, but I know other people have, and I think that's way more fun. I don't tend to try and figure out plot twists in thrillers or like try and figure out what's going on. The Silent Patient I actually did, just because everyone kept saying how groundbreaking the twist was, and I still didn't get it, to be fair. This one I wasn't really trying to get it. I was just listening for chill enjoyment, because as I say, I've had a bit of a week of it. That does sadly mean we have come to the end of this video. So we read Carrie Soto is Back, A Monster Calls, and The Maidens. It means we have 3 more books ticked off of our 24 books to read in 2024. I'll put the graphic up on screen. That should take us to a total of 13, I think, which is not amazing, but it is over halfway, which is grand. Definitely not what I was aiming for, but I'm glad that we've at least read a majority, even if it's a very small majority. I think I'm going to give a little bit more thought to next year's list, my 25 books to read in 2025. That feels weird to say. I think when I picked my 24 books, I just picked randomly. Gave it no thought. I think I did just pick 24 books within reach. So I just think next year I might give the list a little bit more thought. But nonetheless, we've read 13 out of the 24. Technically, we still have a couple weeks left of the year, so I could read some more. Is that going to happen? Don't know. I kind of just want to not read for the rest of this year, and or just do some proper mood reading and just actually chill and read some books I'm really in the mood for. But I will say, we did read some really, really good books this year. Oh, God. I mean this year as well, but I meant this week. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna wrap this video up. I don't know what this intro was. Outro, oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. I love you lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, comment down below, like the video, all that fun stuff. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!